ago, I went to Disney World with Mindy with Cute Girls Hairstyles, and I showed you some shoes that I made for my daughter and asked if you guys wanted a tutorial, and I had an overwhelming response of thumbs up and yes, definitely. A lot of you are going to Disney World this summer, so today I'm going to show you that tutorial. And just to remind you, this was the shoes. They were very, very cute. We got all kinds of compliments there at Disney World. I chose this pair of shoes. It is a Tom knockoff that I got at Rue 21 for just $16. All kinds of stores have something similar to this. I'll have a list of those stores that have knockoff shoes at ShowMeCute.com. But let's get started. I made you guys a pattern, and I will scan this and include it as a file for you to be able to download and print off on ShowMeCute.com. So you'll need one of these and also the bow. And then you're also gonna need, if you're doing your shoes black, a white pencil, white colored pencil, so that your tracing line will show up. So let's get started on our tracing. Okay, right here I've already traced Mickey, and you can see that white line, and I put his pant line there as well. On Minnie, because she has her cute bow, it doesn't go all the way across right here. And so when you're tracing yours, you can just look at the picture that I have online, and you will be able to see that you only need the outer part of the ear here and the outer part of the ear there. And then we're just gonna take the bow, and I put those lines on there as well so that you'll know where to come back and put those later on as well. All right, I have my black paint here, and I'm just using a regular black craft paint. However, this one has a gloss finish, so it has a glossier look to the shoe. Because we're doing black, it won't really show up much if we just have a matte finish. So look for one that has a glossy finish. And if you don't have brushes already, you can get a pack that has all of them included, or a pack of like 12 or so at your craft stores where they sell the craft paint, and it will have all of the brushes that I will be using today, because that's all I have is just the cheapo depot ones. So basically I'm just going to be doing this black part black, just like you can see from the picture. It might be best for you to print out a picture of the finished product and just have it sitting next to you to refer to. That's what I usually do, and I just keep referring back to that picture. And so that's how easy this step is. So I'm gonna go through on this one and on the Minnie and paint in all of my black, and then we'll move on. I'll show you what the next step is. All right, I finished the black. I'm moving on to red. And if you wanna keep watching, you'll see how I do the red. I think in the first one, I ended up having to do 2 coats of red to get really good coverage. So you will need to know that fact. Okay, this is the part of the shoe that starts to get a little more complicated, and I think I told you guys that when I showed you the shoe initially. This is where we really need to get detailed, and as you can see on this shoe, we're going to be doing the white outline. I'm going to do this brush, and it is just a little bit fatter and straight up. Well, a little bit fatter, a little bit straight. It's a smaller, more detailed brush. It doesn't have a number or a name or anything like that, so I can't tell you. So what you're going to want to do with this is you're gonna get the paint on your brush, and not too much, not too little, until you kind of figure out how much you're gonna need. And I'm just gonna go along, because you can work on it some more afterwards. I'm gonna do just kind of a light. Don't give it too much pressure, because you don't want it to get too fat. All right, I have a couple of tips. tips now that I am in painting mode and thinking about it. Number one is when you get to the second coat, you need to get a little bit more paint onto your brush, load it up a little bit thicker because you've already got that first guideline on there for you, and you can get it a little bit thicker and fill into the canvas. And once you start painting, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you don't want to give it a whole lot of pressure in the beginning when you have all that paint on your brush. So go lightly and then push it into the canvas. Okay, number two is, if you're unsure about this, always remember, you guys can practice this on a piece of paper first. And if you are worried about wrecking a pair of shoes, practice a few times beforehand. Practice on a piece of paper and then move to the shoe. It's not going to be perfection from the beginning, so practice, practice, practice. I have finished all of my outline trim, and it actually went a lot faster this time than it did last time, I think because I knew what I was doing. And also remember that no two pair of shoes are going to turn out alike. It's like artwork. You can't copy anything exactly the same. So don't be hard on yourself if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, because my two pairs don't look exactly alike either. And I'm pretty critical of myself. So now what I'm gonna do is Mickey's two little buttons that he has on his pants, and I'm gonna use the end of a big fat brush, and I have my yellow paint. And this is also going to take 2 coats. Everything takes about 2 coats, and I'm just going to center these dots and kind of move around a little bit till I get them the size that I want. Oh, you know what? I don't need 2 coats on this. It looks like it's going on really thick for me. And then I'm gonna do the other one. And these are also gonna be outlined in black. So I don't wanna get them too close together so that the outlines bump into each other. Just making sure I get them about the same size. So that is that. And I'm gonna let that dry and move on to Minnie's bow details. Okay, the bow, Minnie's bow, I'm going to do all the outlining details first because I don't want to have to, so that I know where I want to place the polka dots later on. So again, I'm going to use this little skinny brush that I used on my white outline, and I'm going to do all the bow details, and that is going to include going around the entire bow, and you will be able to see what you need to do just by simply looking at the picture of mine. I'm going to outline all the way around just so I can get the edges really crisp with the black, and it will fade into the black that's already on there. So you can see we're giving our bow dimension by bringing that little line in. We're going to take a line up here on top, and it's going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to just lightly put it on there, and then I'll go back. I'm going to turn my shoe around so it's easier to work. You'll figure out which way is easier for you as far as getting the paint the right way. The very last step on these shoes is adding the cute little polka dots to Minnie's bow, and so I'm just using this end. You just pick which brush will give you about the size polka dot that you want, and you can practice on a plate or practice on a paper towel or something, so that you know exactly what you're doing before you put it on the shoe. And so I also, I think, rolled it around a little bit to get it just slightly bigger. You can see, oh, I slipped a little bit on that one, but I think it's okay. These take quite a bit of paint on the brush to get it the way you want it. So I'm just going to keep adding these polka dots, and then we are all finished. I am all finished with my shoes. I did the outline around the little buttons, I did my polka dots, and finished everything up. This is a little bit longer process. It'll probably take you about an hour to paint them. So make sure that you have the time and go slow, and again, practice if you need to beforehand. So for a list of where you can find shoes that are knockoff Toms, as well as the paint brands and things that I used and store names that you can find paint, go to ShowMeCute.com and I'll have a list of the supplies there, as well as pictures of the shoes that you can look at, and most importantly, your pattern that you can print off. So don't forget to subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.